What's up, guys? Restaurants have been closed for 4 months. We're still not allowed to have clients, but I decided, hey, why not do a cooking show?
Sure, it's a strange time for restaurants. As days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, the perspective of fully reopening isn't even on the horizon. Staff is on hold, waiting for a sign. Running a restaurant is all we know. Or is it? What if our managers became producers? A crew of boom operators, composers, photographers? What if our chefs became, well, food stylists? Welcome to a cooking show made by your local restaurant crew. And by the way, tips are welcome.
Today, I'm cooking for my neighbor, Mike. Mike's a frontline worker. He's an oncologist at the hospital, and COVID-19 has greatly impacted his life.
Everybody's on edge, so it's a hard situation.
I've known Mike for about 10 years now. And when I called him to be on the show, I think he was pretty happy.
When Chuck called me, I don't know, I felt I didn't deserve it. I felt like this is too nice. And yeah, I can't wait to eat the food.
Well, Mike, I can't wait to start cooking. Chuck, what are we making? So, really simple, we're gonna make spicy lobster pappardelle. I chose that dish for 2 reasons. First, both of our families were supposed to go to Maine this summer, but obviously because of the pandemic, that was canceled. So I thought, I'll bring Maine to Mike.
Finally, I'm getting my lobster.
And 2, well, Mike loves food. Honestly, it's the only thing we ever talk about. But for some crazy reason, he doesn't like cheese.
I don't know why. My parents say I stopped eating it when I was 1 year old. I won't get close to it. My kids will run after me with cheese just to scare me. Nobody gets it. Yeah.
Well, Mike, you're pretty lucky. This is probably the only pasta dish I would never put cheese in. First things first though, you need your mise en place. It is the most important part of cooking. Whether you're cooking at home, whether you're cooking in a restaurant, whether you're cooking for 5 people or 500 people, mise en place is key. So you ready? Let's prep this up. Let's go, guys.
Okay, first things first. You're gonna wanna shuck the lobster. That means getting all the meat out, and it also means getting your hands dirty. Yeah, it ain't pretty, but it's worth it. You just gotta get dirty a little bit. All right, little tip. To get the meat out of the tiny little legs, you can use a bottle to squeeze it all out. All right, perfect. Once that's done, we're gonna move on and do our lobster stock. So we start with a bit of olive oil, get it nice and hot, then add onions, some carrots, celery, garlic, bay leaves, some peppercorn, thyme, and then you're gonna let that caramelize just for a few minutes. Add in our lobster scraps, and then another little secret, 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Perfect. Let it cook a bit, then top it off with water, and you're gonna bring this to a boil. Once it's boiling nice and hot, reduce the heat and let it simmer for 20 to 30 minutes. Then you're gonna wanna strain it. Bring it back to a boil, reduce the stock by at least half, and then we're gonna let it cool, and we're done. Now for the pasta. Just start with 2 cups of all-purpose flour, create a little well in the middle, and then you can drop in 3 eggs, 2 tablespoons of salt, and a bit of olive oil. Mix it all together. Now you're gonna have to use your hands a little bit. When everything sticks together into a ball, you know you're ready to knead. And you're gonna knead it for a few minutes. You know it's ready when everything is nice and blended and it has nice elasticity. You're gonna let it rest in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. Then we're gonna go 1/2 at a time. It's just easier to flatten it out. What's great about pappardelle is you don't need any fancy tools and it doesn't have to be too thin. So you can do this all by hand. Then you wanna roll it up into some sort of like fruit roll-up shape, and then you can cut nice, big, equal pappardelle. All right, then toss them together, bundle them up. You can dry them for a few hours or overnight, or serve them as is. We're good to go. Our prep is done. Now, let's go back to the kitchen for some spicy lobster pappardelle.
Pappardelle. It's not Papa Roach, it's pappardelle. My milder spicy antipasto will be the first star at your dinner table. All right, first step, little touch of olive oil, little butter. Let that come together. We're gonna add in our shallots. Smells good already. Shallots are looking good. Time to add in our garlic. You wanna add your garlic after the shallots because you don't want it to burn. So now we really have the base of our sauce. We're really developing the flavors. We've got the olive oil, the butter, the shallots, the garlic, and now I'm gonna add in some tomatoes, just fresh tomatoes cubed up, and these are gonna slowly cook, kind of stew up, and give us a good base for our sauce. Everything's in there. Our tomatoes are starting to stew up. You can see all the juice, all that liquid is coming out. And so I'm gonna crank the heat a little bit, and I really wanna get all that juice to evaporate, all that flavor to intensify. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. So next step here, we're gonna add some hot pepper spread, but don't show the label, or like, I don't wanna just, you could use anything really, but this would work really well, so just saying, put some in there. Mike's got 3 kids, and I'm not sure if they like spicy, so I'm gonna go with mild pepper spread, but if you have spicy, go nuts. And now we add lobster stock. I would say about 1.5 cups, 2 cups, but I will give them a little bit of extra lobster stock if they need just a touch more at home. Good to go. Looking good. All right, sauce is done. It's rich, it's a little bit sweet from the peppers. Not normal. You can taste the garlic, a little bit of the lobster. Oh, that's good. All right, sauce is done. Pappardelle. 2 to 3 minutes, cook in a really, really, really hot boiling water, and we need to add quite a bit of salt. Now, time for some lobster. So, specialty item, very expensive. You wanna make sure that you get every last bit out of your lobster. So you wanna make sure you get all the meat out, even in those little, and you wanna use the bodies, the shells, and all that for stock. So we really did that here. The next little tip is when you're using seafood, fish, all you wanna do is add a little bit of ice. Keep it like that in my fridge. Stays nice and cool.
And we're finally ready to plate. We add the lobster at the very end. Now you can rectify the sauce with a little bit of lobster stock. And then you just dump in the pasta. Yeah, just like that. And what I like to do is add a little extra touch of butter, adds just a little bit of creaminess and brings everything together. Chopped chives. We're almost ready to go. Mix that all together. And finally, top it off with a little bit of lemon zest. Don't worry, Mike, it's not cheese. Perfect. Lemon zest, lobster. Wow, this looks good.
All right, Mike, pasta's ready, smells good, looks good. Now, if it were me, I would suggest a nice late vintage root beer with this, but it's a good thing I'm not in charge. Jess knows best. Jess knows best.
Here we have the Lieu-dit Chenin Blanc from California. It is fruit forward with notes of peach and pear, has tons of minerality, a great texture that'll coat your taste buds, and it'll go excellent with the spicy lobster pappardelle.
So Mike is on his way. I'm gonna start putting together his takeout box. I'll put all the ingredients in there, throw in a few gifts, and while I'm doing that, Sam, let's make a cocktail.
Mike, how are you, man? I'll give you one of these. So I made basically a lobster pappardelle. So you've got all the pastas here for 5. You've got the sauce. Jess, our sommelier, chose 2 wines from the same vineyard. So you got a rosé and a white. Gift pack of products, Chuck Hughes. Yeah, hopefully we'll be open soon and you guys can come and enjoy. Yeah, cheers.
My wife and I do miss going out, having a good meal, a good bottle of wine. So we miss that. Can't wait to eat the food.
Getting the crew back together these past couple of days, you know, was a lot of fun. Doing what we do best, cooking for the people that we really care about. You know, it's what we do. It was good to do it again, even though it was just for a short while. Anyways, back to the dish pit. See you guys next time.